It's a divorce question, that's what it is. Hi, I'm Kat!
And I'm Chicken. What's up, peeps? And so today, basically, we're going to be taking the 16 personality MBTI test for each other. So we already know what our types are, like when we do it ourselves, but we're going to take it for each other because we got to know each other pretty well here, and we'll figure out what we truly are through that. So who wants to go first here? Do you want me to take it for you first, or do you want to take it for me first?
I mean, I feel like this is a make or break situation.
Yeah.
Because what if we get it wrong?
Then maybe you just overestimate yourself, you know? Maybe we want to believe certain things about ourselves and what we would answer. And, we don't know what we really are, but the other person sees more of it. And, so there you go. Maybe we'll take it for this one here, too.
I wish. Okay, I want you to judge me.
Judge you first? Okay, let's do it. So let's go ahead and scroll down here. If you haven't taken it before, they also sell a lot of stuff too. Not really like a paid promotion or anything here. Unless they want to link up, but 16personalities.com. They are a great resource if you guys haven't done this already. It's a good way to kind of get to know more about yourself. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here. The first question says, you enjoy vibrant social events with lots of people. I'm going to put like the second highest level of agree on that. I don't think you like the lots of people part. We're assuming pre-pandemic here. But yeah, I would say that like if it's like way too crowded, you're not into it. But like 2 out of 3, I would give that for you. You often spend time exploring unrealistic yet intriguing ideas. Huh. That's kind of an interesting one for you. See, I think you have this habit of like really reflecting on stuff and like the what could be and like kind of like all the different scenarios. So you really like to do that part of things. But a lot of your things often are rooted in practicality. So it's kind of weird because I don't know. Maybe I'm going to put like a 1 on the agree. It's not like that heavy. It's almost really neutral, but you're kind of around there. Your travel plans are more likely to look like a rough list of ideas and a detailed itinerary. Very disagree. You love your itinerary. You love your lists. Very disagree.
Just a little bit.
Love your itineraries. You often think about what you should have said in a conversation long after it's taken place. Huh. I don't know, man. That's a good one.
Do you have like shower arguments with yourself?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. And I know some people who do.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely do. I'm not sure if that's you or not. I'm going to say 1 on the agree. Remember we had an argument once and I heard you talking to yourself after.
Oh, I was probably just talking smack about you.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, maybe you do that with other situations too. I don't know. Not very high, though. You definitely speak your mind. You get it out. You don't leave anything to guess or anything to chance. You go for it, if your friend is sad about something, your first instinct is to support them emotionally, not try to solve the problem. Ooh, that's a tough one because you want that for yourself. I don't know if that's something you do for others necessarily. I think you are also a big-time solver, and that's why you don't like people complaining to you, because you also like to solve stuff. But I'm going to say maybe in the ideal world, if you're going to be getting at it, you're probably maybe a 1 on agree for that. I think you do like that, but I think you also have a habit of trying to solve problems too, and when you can't solve what they're doing, you think it's a waste and you kind of get frustrated, which I can relate to that.
I would agree with you. I think it also depends on the person and what they're complaining about.
Yeah, true. People can rarely upset you. I'm going to go disagree on that.
Rude.
You care about what people think. You care about your image. It's how you are. It's what you like. Care about that. And people making stupid decisions or saying stupid stuff often upsets you, I think.
Don't be stupid.
It's true. I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking in a general sense.
Oh, okay.
And just the world around you.
Yeah,
just the world
sure.
around you, like it happens. You often rely on other people to be the ones to start a conversation and keep it going. I'm going to be very disagree on that one. Well, not very disagree, probably 2 disagree. I think depending on the person, sometimes you might rely on other people, but I think if you have some sort of common ground, you're pretty talkative, you're very social and outgoing.
I'll talk to you about anything.
Yeah.
Grocery lists.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It would be a challenge for you to spend the whole weekend all by yourself without feeling bored.
Very agree. Triggered, but
sure. Very agree. You like to be around people. You don't like to be completely alone all the time and just at home the whole weekend. You need to get out and do stuff. You get restless. That's how you are. You're more of a detail-oriented than a big picture person. Absolutely agree. Big time detail-oriented person. You're very into the details. You're very affectionate with people you care about. I'm going to agree on that. I very agree. You're very affectionate.
The key word is people you care about.
Mm-hmm. Yep, people you care about. Look at this guy. Look at you care about this guy.
That's it.
At parties and similar events, you can mostly be found farther away from the action. Depends on what kind of action we're talking about here, but I'm going to put slight disagree on that. I think that, actually probably double disagree. Not full disagree, but I think you want to be where the action is.
Double disagree.
The double disagree. Not triple disagree, mind you. You often find it difficult to relate to people who let their emotions guide them. Yes. A little bit. A little bit.
Just,
yeah.
Yes.
I think with other people, absolutely.
It's not that it's difficult to relate. It's just that I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because usually it's about something that is really, truly, like, I'm like, hire a therapist. It's not life and death.
Can stay calm under a lot of pressure. That's a... I don't know. I haven't seen you...
It's a divorce question, that's what it is.
I haven't seen you... I haven't seen you under too much pressure except in one circumstance. I think that...
You haven't seen
I'm gonna say, I think I'm gonna agree on that.
You haven't...
I think, except for one circumstance, is what I'm saying. There was one specific circumstance, not gonna get into details on the stream or anything like that here. But there was one circumstance that involved an immense amount of pressure. I think like you did a good job saying calm under that.
2018 to now has just only been pressure. It's been a pressure cooker.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I was saying, like, certain things in circumstances is a disagree, certain things is an agree. It's kind of weird. I'm almost neutral, but I think that if it really came down to it, it was a really high amount of pressure, I think you could say calm under pressure.
Okay. Sure, yeah.
I'm just saying you think you could.
Thanks. It's your opinion. You're taking the test for me.
When you sleep, your dreams tend to be bizarre and fantastical. Yes, you've told me about that. You're really...
I would disagree. You can't change it.
You told me some very interesting stuff that you've talked about recently.
I don't think they're fantastical.
They're very bizarre, and some of them are fantastical. You've told me a lot about that. If you make a mistake, you tend to start doubting yourself, your abilities, or your knowledge. I'll agree on that. You don't like mistakes. You ruminate on them. You ruminate on them.
Although, I feel like 2020...
Actually, you know what? That's pretty high. You really think about it.
I feel like 2020 has taught me to be more lenient with myself and making mistakes. Especially mistakes that are, like, not, that big of a deal.
Oh, I guess if there's one tiny silver lining from 2020, it's when at a social event, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people, mostly talk to the ones you already know. I'm going to say disagree. You're a socialite, man. You can talk to anybody.
I am a Sagittarius.
Usually lose interest in a discussion when it gets philosophical. Very disagree. Love a philosophical thing. Again, Sagittarius. You're very into that stuff. You feel more drawn to places with a bustling, busy atmosphere than more quiet and intimate ones. I'm going to disagree on that a little bit. I think you could be good in either environment, but I think you like quiet and intimate, especially noise. You like discussing different views and theories on what the world could look like in the future. Agree. You like any kind of discussion that looks into stuff, I think. Like the philosophy of it all.
Oh, thanks.
You cannot imagine yourself dedicating your life to the study of something you cannot see, touch, or experience. That's a weird one.
It's judging your sensing or intuition.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying, for you specifically, it's kind of a weird one. I'm going to disagree a little bit. Only a little bit. And that's because, psychology was an interest of yours, and technically you can't see, touch, or experience the psychology of other people.
I mean, but they can see, touch, and experience the psychology of themselves.
I'm saying I don't know where the line to draw is with that specific question.
I mean, when I'm thinking of you cannot see, touch, or experience, I'm thinking, religious studies.
That's kind of what I thought of, too. Or, philosophy.
Right.
But...
It's your opinion.
I mean, if you got, an interesting enough job around that, maybe you could. If you were, a podcast person or a speaker.
No,
I could see you doing that. It's not a heavy disagree. It's just a little bit. I could see you in the right context doing that.
Whatever you believe.
I could see you getting that in the right context, is what I'm saying. Usually prefer to get your revenge rather than forgive. I would agree a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah, no, it's
a little bit. Not heavy, but a little bit. You often put special effort into interpreting the real meaning of the message of a song or a movie. I'm going to put slight disagree. I don't think you like to overanalyze and think about lyrics. I think you like to just experience everything as a whole. You can, if you want to. But I don't think that you... that's why it only is a little bit. I just don't think it's your preference.
It's fine.
It's not a you often. You don't often do that, is what it's saying. I think you can. You just don't like to. You just like to watch it. You just like to listen to it, you know? You always know exactly what you want. Slight agree. Not complete agree, but slight agree. I think generally you do. Sometimes you're a little indecisive, but most of the time you know what you want and you're going to get it. That's how you go. I tend to focus on present realities rather than future possibilities. I'm going to put disagree. Only a little.
It's called anxiety.
Yeah, you got some anxiety over stuff. I'm going to put a little disagree, though. I think that you would rather be present. It's just that sometimes you get caught up on it. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings.
Okay. That's fine. I won't be offended.
I'm going to slight agree. I think you want to problem solve. You want to get to it.
I just want people to shut the hell up and own their decisions.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you don't understand the emotion behind it, and you just want the logic behind it.
Like, you make a bad decision, there's a bad outcome, and I'm like, yeah, obviously.
I mean, I know what you're going to be putting for me on that one. I think we both can be that way. I know we can both be that way, is what I'm saying. Feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. Yeah. That's how we met. You look after yourself first and others come second. No. I'm going to put neutral on that one. I think that you can be selfless. Sometimes you put yourself first. I mean, it's kind of a balance. It can be either way. You can be very selfless at times.
Thanks.
Your mood can change very quickly.
Answer this one carefully, Michael.
It can. It depends on what happens. It can. I mean, it's just human, right? You react to something that happens. You're not just like... everything. You often contemplate the reason for human existence and the meaning of life. Totally. We do that all the time. You often talk about your own feelings and emotions. Yeah, definitely.
I was raised by a therapist.
Yeah. Spending time in a dynamic atmosphere with lots of people around quickly makes you feel drained and in need of a getaway. Definitely disagree. You get energized by that. You see yourself as more of a realist than a visionary. Agree. Emotions control you more than you control them. That's an uncomfortable question to ask. Answer about somebody. I know you know the answer to that.
I won't be offended.
I know you know the answer to that one. You're a fire sign.
It's fine.
You're a fire sign.
I'm fine.
You're a fire sign.
Fine.
You're a fire sign girl. I always consider how actions might affect other people before doing something. Disagree. You speak your truth. You don't always care about the effect in the short term. You might think that has a better effect in the long term when you do something. You might think somebody needs to hear something.
You need to hear something.
Yeah, same. You do. And what did you get? ENFJ. Interesting. Changing. It's different than what we were used to.
I think you have to tell people what.
So that's the protagonist. So when we look at this, the mind, definitely 76% extroverted, 24 introverted. Energy, you got more intuitive than observant in this case, but not by a lot. Nature, you got feeling over thinking.
Rude.
Tactics was judging over prospecting. Identity was turbulent over assertive.
Gross.
So that was the T at the end, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. The ENFJ, from what I've heard, is actually a very...
So it's the protagonist.
Yeah, no, it's like a great characteristic to have.
Yeah, it's the protagonist. So maybe you see yourself as... You're usually an ESTJ.
I am an ESTJ.
But maybe you're perceived as more of a ENFJ, the protagonist.
Not.
No, I think you are usually a pretty stereotypical ESTJ from the descriptions I've heard, but like... Yeah, other protagonists, Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, John Cusack, Ben Affleck.
Look at their strengths.
Malala. Sean Connery. Jennifer Lawrence, Maya Angelou. Danny Target, Fire and Blood. There you go. Morpheus, Elizabeth Bennet.
Look at their strengths.
Their strengths.
Skylar White, hard pass. I'm done.
It's done?
I'm done.
What strengths? Where's the strengths? There it is. There it is. Okay. Tolerant, reliable. No. You're not very tolerant. Reliable, charismatic, altruistic, natural leader. Weaknesses, idealistic, selfless, sensitive, fluctuating self-esteem, struggle to make tough decisions. Yeah. Romantic relationships. Slow walker, but never walk back. I guess it's like you take a while to warm up to them, and then once you're into it, you're committed. Friendships. Try to pluck a thistle and plant a flower wherever the flower would grow. So it just seems like you're really diplomatic, and you just really like to help your friends out.
Well, this is interesting because this is how you perceive me.
Yeah.
So your brain perceives me as an ENFJ, in a sense.
Which is odd because I always thought you were pretty spot on with the ESTJ, and most of the characters that align with it, when you look at the things, were pretty spot on. But when we took it this time, you got ENFJ. Interesting.
I think you need to clarify what an
strong
ESTJ
relationship with mother
is.
ENFJ. So ESTJ, yeah, extroverted, sensing, thinking, judging. So that would be the executive, typically, is what they would call that. I think there's some other phrases that they use for it too, but I think they call it the executive on this one. Or like the manager. Yeah, speak to your manager.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was yours. That's what we ended up getting, interestingly enough. But let's see if maybe we can just go into the beginning again, and maybe you can do it for me now. Let's see what we get.
16personalities.com.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and just, here we go, retake the test. There you go. All right, take it from me. Let's see what we get. I'll hold this guy if you need me to.
You want to hold chunk?
Yeah, I'll hold the chunk.
Okay.
There you go, buddy. I'll take these out. I don't need them. Okay. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy.
All right.
Squirming.
Do you enjoy vibrant social events with lots of people? No!
I don't.
You don't.
I don't.
You think COVID would be treating you nicer then? You often spend time exploring unrealistic yet intriguing ideas. Yeah, I would say so. I feel like that's something that you would do.
Gotta make stories. Gotta come up with interesting scenario. I don't know.
Travel plans are more a rough list of ideas than a detailed itinerary. Yeah, I don't think you ever do any research. Anytime we ever go.
I do it like the day before we go. I don't spend months on it. I just do it like, all right, I kind of want to do this. Or like, you do when we get there.
A straight up spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Of like restaurants and museums and bars and like, I mean, my mom did that too. So bye. Hi, Angel. Okay. You often think about what you should have said in a conversation long after it's taken place. I just don't think that you would care.
I've actually done that before. Like in the shower, like, oh man, I wish I had said this.
I don't know, but like in a long term, I don't think you care. I don't think you care how people interpret you. Whatever.
That works.
If your friend is sad about something and your first instinct is to support them emotionally, not to try and solve the problem, no.
No, very not. I want to help.
People can rarely... This is a point of contention. People can rarely upset you. I would say so. I feel like unless someone like directly attacks your character or like a loved one, either personally or emotionally, I don't think you're generally... I just don't think you care enough about like anything.
No.
Except for you. You rarely worry if you made a good impression on someone you met. I don't think you care.
Yeah, I usually
I don't think you care if it was a good impression. It would be a challenge for you to spend the whole weekend all by yourself without feeling bored. No.
No.
Which
I can occupy myself pretty well.
I don't get it, yeah.
That's what games are made for. That's what this whole channel was made about. I can occupy myself.
Careful and methodical approach to life. Yeah, I generally think so. I don't think you stress about the little things as much as I do. But I do think that you think out a general life approach as to like finances and career.
Yeah.
So, you're still bothered by the mistakes you made long ago.
I can think of one.
Yeah, I can think of one. I can think of one, which isn't necessarily like
even my fault.
a mistake. Yeah. I mean, I feel like everyone is like bothered by some mistakes they've made in the past.
Car accidents aren't fun.
I don't know. At parties and similar events, you can mostly be found farther away from the action. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't meet at that party.
Yeah, that's right. The Rocky Horror Picture
in
Show
high
party.
school.
Yeah.
Because I was too busy.
I was watching people, and oh no, the Across the Universe one. I was watching the movie with everybody. I was like sitting on the couch. We were at 2 different parties together before we like officially met. We went to the same high school, and
I don't know you.
we never actually like met. We were in different parts of the party. I don't know if it's a personality thing or if it's just who we knew at the time. I don't know.
You often find it difficult to relate to people who let their emotions guide them. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
I don't think emotionally.
You can stay calm under a lot of pressure. Yeah, I don't. Again, I just don't think you care.
Growing up, like as an athlete, you get used to it.
I just don't think you care. When in a group of people you do not know, you have no problem jumping right into the conversation. I feel like you might struggle a little bit to find
the right time.
A window.
The right time. That's all it always is. I don't want to like step on somebody talking, kind of thing, you know. So like I just wait till people say their piece, and then like they keep saying their piece, and they get past that point, and then I awkwardly try to say something about the topic they were on because I wasn't trying to interrupt people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah,
it's weird.
When you sleep, your dreams tend to be bizarre and fantastical. Sometimes.
When I have them, yeah, they usually are.
Sometimes.
Although I have a lot of dreams about baseball. I don't know why. Or sports.
In your opinion, it is sometimes okay to step on others to get ahead in life. I'm going to say you highly disagree with that.
No need.
Pretty...
Do it on your own merit. Don't do it. Yeah, just do it on your own merits.
If you make a mistake, you tend to start doubting yourself, your abilities, or your knowledge. No, I think you have a growth mindset, which is great. I think that's great. I think that's difficult for a lot of Americans or millennials to make a mistake and feel like, you're not a piece of crap, but whatever.
Or like giving into imposter syndrome or something like that.
Yeah, I have that hardcore. Absolutely. When at a social event, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know. Probably, yeah.
Mostly agree, yeah. I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I did make a new friend when we went to somebody's party like a while ago, but beyond that, I mostly just stick around people I know.
You usually lose interest in a discussion when it gets philosophical. Highly disagree. I think those are your favorite types of discussions. You cannot imagine yourself dedicating your life to the study of something that you cannot see, touch, or experience. I would disagree with that for you. I think you're intuitive. Way more, let me clarify. I don't think you're intuitive with emotions. Necessarily.
I don't know. But, yeah, I think that more so than you, I could probably get into that kind of thing because that's not something you're usually into, like that particular question. I think you're very more hands-on than I am.
I am. You usually prefer to get your revenge rather than forgive. I think that if you could, you would, yeah.
That's funny.
I think that if you could, you would.
That's an interesting answer.
Well,
we're all gonna have one where we disagree with it on the other, and that's gonna be the one. I think so. Let things roll off at me most of the time.
No, I think I'm thinking of like if it was a severe enough case where like somebody did something to a direct family member or a loved one.
Oh yeah, for sure. Then
I think if it was like someone cut you off in traffic, you'd be like, all right, you're a terrible person, and you're gonna have a horrible life. But like you do you.
There's a usually thing there as a preface, but okay. You do you, man. You do you.
Okay, well. You often make decisions on a whim. I don't think that you plan as much as I do. I think a lot of what you say and do is just based on your current situation, which is great for you. The time you spend by yourself often ends up being more interesting and satisfying. Yeah,
it's pretty interesting.
It's so fascinating because like I grew up as an only child, and you would have thought that like that meant that I was comfortable being alone, but no, in fact, I was so involved in extracurricular stuff, and I had an abundance of friends at any given stage in my life, and I was always around someone that I feel like the one thing in 2020 I've learned is like I'm not comfortable being alone. But you have siblings, and you like
yeah, I know. Having siblings made me value my alone time when you got it. We liked, I guess, entertaining each other and being around each other. We're always kind of there for each other in a sense, but like it really makes you like realize that you like your space when you get it. If that makes sense.
I guess, yeah. I always had my space, so maybe I didn't appreciate it as much. You often put special effort into interpreting the real meaning of a message, song, or movie. I would say so. I think
English
you're
major.
Pretty
English major.
about all those things. You always know exactly what you want. No.
Sometimes it changes.
In the sense that, like, I just think that you're so go with the flow that it's almost like it doesn't, unless it's pertaining to something super serious, you just don't care.
Doesn't matter.
You just go with the flow, which
just doesn't matter.
You really tend to focus on present realities rather than future possibilities. I think you're better at staying present than I am. I worry and have anxiety about the future all the time and play the what if game, which is super fun. You should try it.
Interesting. Yeah, I would have put myself like neutral on that one possibly. It's kind of interesting because I get like so caught up in my thoughts that I could go either way on that one.
Well, I think it's interesting that as partners, like you're, in a sense, we're almost rating each other based on like our deficiencies.
That's
so
true.
I'm like, I know that my deficiencies, like I'm super future oriented, sometimes for the worst, but I know that you're able to stay more present than I am, so I rate you maybe higher than you would rate yourself because I'm deficient in it.
That's fair. I mean, I think that when I took this, I probably like the first or second time I took this, I did that answer that you just put for myself, so I think that's a pretty fair assessment of like most of the time. Yeah, sure.
You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. Yes. Yes. And I don't think it's that you don't understand them. I think it's like you're like me, but I'm over here in that middle ground of like, I understand it, I want to help you, but I also understand that you need the validation and you just want someone to like hold you and care about you and say it's going to be okay. But sometimes you're over here where you're like, we'll just fix it.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a tendency to not let people ruminate on their feelings enough or like wallow in their feelings enough. Like I'll sit there and I'll be like, I understand that you feel that way and why you feel that way and that you're going through something, but like, how do we get past that? Like, I'm not letting you sit there and just like wallow in it.
But sometimes you need to let
sometimes
people
you
sit.
do, yeah, of course. Sometimes you do.
Let them sit.
I'm not saying that's a good quality or trait that I have. I'm just saying that that's just sometimes the way I think. Like, I think it's like a reaction, like a sympathetic, like an empathy reaction of like, I hate seeing you in pain, so I want to get you past this as quickly as possible because it just makes me uncomfortable and it's not something I like to see for yourself, kind of thing, you know? So
I think it stems from you don't like seeing myself or anyone else in pain, so you're like, oh my god, how do I fix it? But sometimes you just can't fix it.
Yeah, it's fair.
All the men out there, you just can't fix it. You just gotta.
It's fair. Yeah.
Just gotta hold her.
Yeah, people's lives aren't, gutters or roofs. You can't,
no, they're
can't
not.
just fix it.
Unfortunately, I wish.
Slap a nail and hammer on it and call it a day. Can't do that.
The psych community would have a field day if that was.
Yeah, I know.
It was as easy as
easy
that.
job, huh?
You feel comfortable just walking up to someone and you find interesting and striking up a conversation. I don't think that you care enough.
So if I don't care what they'll think about me.
Yeah, like I think if you genuinely like found whatever scenario and you were like, oh my god, I have to talk to that person, I think you would do it. I don't think you would care if they.
I have done that.
Thought you were
it's
weird.
Like whatever conventions or like tournaments or whatever I go to, or like when I went to like the pre-release tournament that I went to that I filmed part of on this channel. Like I just talked to people there and networked and whatever. I didn't care. Just talking about Pokemon cards. Cool.
Sure.
We found that interesting.
Me too.
Talked about it.
Yeah. You often drift away into daydreaming in various ideas or scenarios. Yes.
Just go ahead and put it. We know it.
Yes.
You just be talking about something one minute and the next thing I was just spaced out. Like, oh wait, sorry, I was just lost in my thoughts.
Even when you have planned a particular daily routine, you usually just end up doing what you feel like at any given moment. I would say so. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Your mood can change very quickly. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Now if you did something. Now if you did something on the other
I don't think I've ever seen any significant difference.
I mean, I've been, like, mad at you and then just been, like, the same tone of voice I have now.
Same.
My mom tells me I get that from my, like, great-grandma. Her grandma. Apparently she was the same way. Like, when she would get angry with them or, like, yell at them, she would never yell. She would just be, like, talking in a slightly lower tone of voice. Like, I'm just disappointed at
Yeah,
you.
you're
like,
mad.
Yeah.
You're not mad, you're just disappointed.
Yeah.
I get that energy. You often contemplate the reason for human existence or the meaning of life? Yeah, I would say so. You often talk about your own feelings and emotions? Not so much.
Yeah, probably not.
No, not unless it's absolutely necessary. Spending time in a dynamic atmosphere with lots of people around you quickly makes you feel drained and in need of a getaway. Yeah, yes.
I have actually communicated that before.
Yeah, you're clearly introverted. You see yourself as more of a realist than a visionary.
I think that's a good... I think you picked a good thing. I think I like both of those terms, and I could do either in a given circumstance. Like,
yeah.
Whatever.
You find it easy to empathize with a person who has gone through something you never have. I think you want to. I do.
It depends on the context.
I think you want to. I just don't think in a communication manner that comes across.
Fair. Yeah. I mean, the line of work I'm in, I do have to do that at times. And I mean, I think that a lot of the people that I've worked around that I've had to, like, I guess, share in that sort of experience with when they open up to me about things like that, like, generally they find that I'm compassionate and that I'm understanding about things, but, like, it doesn't mean that it's easy for me to come up with the right things to say in the certain circumstances to comfort people or to try to help them through that. It's difficult for me. I can do it, but it's difficult for me.
I think you have good intention. It's just hard to communicate that. Which for, I mean, anyone. I get it.
Especially when you care.
Okay. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than to organized and consistent efforts. I would say yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you'll randomly start working at like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like...
I will work like months in advance, or like weeks in advance, like within one night, and then like it's just over. Yeah.
Your emotions control you more than you control them. I would disagree. I think... I don't know that you have a lot of emotions sometimes.
I'm surprised that wasn't a higher disagree for you. I don't know if I ever really, except in a certain circumstance, like let on my emotions.
Well, it's interesting because I think you're not truly a robot. I think you feel things, you don't express them as often as like I would. Like, I'm going to let you know if I'm upset. That's just what I'm going to do. But I don't think you necessarily will vocalize that to me or to anyone else. But I think you're just able to, I don't know if control is the right word, more so like suppress.
So you would say that I control them.
You still honor the commitments you have made even if you have a change of heart. I would highly disagree.
Really?
Okay, never mind.
This is about, I know what this is about.
What is it about?
It's about rubs. That's what it's about.
No, I think that I feel like if you disagreed with something that you made a commitment to 6 months ago and you were like, no, I don't want to do that, you would be like, no, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I don't think you would have a problem being like, I don't care what I told you 6 months ago.
That's like, interesting. Could be.
You rarely feel insecure. I would say yeah, and I think it's because you don't generally care about what people think about you.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. I'm assuming that you affiliate with male? Correct me.
Yeah, or chicken, you know. But yeah.
Or I mean...
Yeah, male is fine.
Okay.
See if you got it accurate. Which I think I just screwed yours up, is what happened. You know? I think that's what happened there.
Basically, you see me in a better light than, like, what I see myself as.
There you go. I got the rose-colored glasses.
Which is
the
fascinating.
cat-colored glasses here.
So wait, if I get this right, do I get anything?
It means like I am what you thought I was. I am who you thought I was. Yeah.
Okay.
Am I who you thought I was? Yeah, I am who you think I am.
So basically, I have an accurate representation of who you are, and you're like, oh,
I
you're...
have a slightly more cheery version of yours.
Oh my god.
I'm nicer to you than you are to yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I am my own worst critic. That would make sense.
Wow, look at the introverted versus extroverted
Yeah.
percent. And the prospecting versus judging.
I absolutely...
I'm assertive.
I mean, to me, if I was a psychologist and I had to just throw you in these categories, you would be introverted, you would be intuitive, and predominantly thinking, and predominantly not judging.
Perceiving or perspective.
Yeah, because you judge me for being judging.
I keep telling you, don't judge it.
I'm a J. I am absolutely a J.
Let people do their thing,
Forever.
you know?
That's just...
Let them do what they do.
I grew up on Bravo shows. I mean, that's all they did. It's judging.
I'm assertive, apparently.
Yeah, I think you can be. I do
yeah.
think you're imaginative, open-minded, abstract thinker. Definitely big concept, but you do lose yourself in the, like, nitty-gritty logistics, detailed stuff.
Could
which is great that I guess we're paired together. So I think you can be enthusiastic about things that you enjoy. Generally objective speaking. A little too straightforward sometimes.
Be.
I do
Private
think
withdrawal,
you're
insensitive. Yeah, okay. I'll go through those things.
a little too private with your emotions specifically. I don't know if that's, again, a male-female dynamic. Like, our generation at least grew up on the tail end of the boomers, telling us to subscribe to gender roles, and women get to be communicative and feeling, and men don't, and maybe that's still slightly ingrained, or maybe it's just your personality, or, combination of two, but I feel like I'm very obviously like, I'm upset, I don't like XYZ, and then you'll tell me a month later, like, oh, I didn't like that thing that you did. And I'm like, okay, great.
It goes back to that question you answered of, like, I try to think about how what I do will affect others kind of thing, and I'm just like, I don't care to upset you over this. Well, like, it's not as worth it to me. Until it, like, comes up, and then I finally just say it. Yeah, I get that.
I think...
I can be insensitive. I get that.
I think you can come off as insensitive. I don't think that your intention is to be insensitive. I just think that you're trying to solve everyone's problems when half, if not the majority of the time, when people come to another person, they're like, I have an issue. It's not because they actually want you to solve the issue. It's because they want you to tell them that it'll be okay and that you care about them.
Fair.
Fun fact.
Absent-minded.
Psych
hack.
Yeah.
Absent-minded, yeah, I get it.
Condescending. Remember when I specifically said that when you speak sometimes it can come off as condescending, even if that's not your intention, and I told you that that's how it can be perceived, even if that's not that's not what you're trying to get at, but then it's right there. It's right there.
It says that I take pride in my knowledge and rationale and enjoy sharing ideas, but in trying to explain how they got from A to B to Z, they get frustrated and sometimes simplify things to the point where people take it insultingly and struggle to gauge my
It is insultingly, because why do you think that I care how you got there? I tell you this all the time. I'm like, I don't care. Just don't do the thing that I'm asking you not to do. I don't care why you're doing it.
I just don't like being criticized for that kind of stuff. So I sometimes just think, like, it's not worth criticizing.
You don't like rules and guidelines?
I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it. Some rules I don't, some I don't. Only sometimes. Like, I think that I usually make a decision to just go with it, but I tend to be really careful in how I word things to people. so as not to, like, I guess, get into a situation of regret.
Read this, though. A good wife makes happiness, a bad one philosophy.
Interesting. Marry. So it's like trying to tell people you should get married. Marry. There we go.
When conflicts arise, you'll find your best to get a logical solution, but this hardly helps. The problem is logic itself. You're not meeting the partner's emotional needs. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what happens. I told you, like, that's just how my mind is. I gotta get to the logic of it. It's hard to break away from that. I think that's a pretty good place to leave off for this video. We got our thing here. She got me right. I perceived her a little more, I guess, in a cheery way than she usually perceives herself.
There's nothing wrong. If you're an ESTJ, there's nothing wrong with an ESTJ.
No.
There's nothing wrong.
People are going to see you as inherently more cutthroat, but you get stuff done. That's how it goes. You get it done. You do the stuff that, like, you know, other people can't or don't want to do in that way. You make the hard decisions. That's what an ESTJ does. But that being said, it comes across as cold and calculated, but I guess I saw her a little differently. And it was in a little more of an altruistic and friendly, stereotypical way.
You just seem more like crying behind the scenes.
Is that what it is? The hardness of the ESTJ life. Is that what it is?
Maybe, yeah, like the shadow of the ESTJ is an ENFJ.
Maybe. That's your shadow self. Makes sense. But anyway, yeah, why don't you guys go ahead at home and just, you know, take the quiz yourself and let us know what you are in the chat and kind of see if you can relate to anybody else here. So yeah, like and subscribe, and thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye!